Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. We're doing this on Wednesday. I know it's weird, but that's just how Thanksgiving works. All the movies open on Wednesday. That's just how it is. So, yeah. Anywho, today we're going to be talking about Bones and All. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. I think the biggest pro for this movie is our lead here. Timothy Chalamet. I'm pretty sure you all know who he is at this point. This man right here has legions upon legions of female fans. It is absurd. Or I guess we could call them stans because they definitely qualify as stans. It's like Harry Styles, where he also has like tons and tons and tons of female fans. Same thing here. And he's been in some big stuff recently. Last year he was in Dune. Literally one of the only Warner Brothers movies to survive the HBO Max experiment. That was a big deal. He was also in Little Women, French Dispatch, Don't Look Up, but that's a Netflix movie. I'm not going to count that. Call Me by Your Name. That was like his breakthrough role, and he's gonna be Willy Wonka in the Wonka movie coming out next year that we all wanted so badly. I'm sure of it, and also Dune Part Two for next year. But yeah, he's definitely a recognizable face, and I feel like what's gonna happen here is gonna be the same thing what happened with Don't Worry Darling, where literally anyone who watched Don't Worry Darling only watched it because of Harry Styles. Same thing's gonna happen here. Anyone who's gonna watch Bones and All is probably gonna show up just for Timothy Chalamet. Like I have no doubt that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, I'd say having Timothy Chalamet in this movie is a relative pro. Maybe not a strong pro, but a relative pro. Um, I know Mark Rylance is in this movie. I wouldn't count him really. He's more of like a supporting actor. So I don't think he's gonna have much of an impact on this. I know Timothy Chalamet is probably gonna have all the impact when it comes to who shows up for this movie. Like he's gonna be the main reason. So Timothy Chalamet, pro. Another pro is that its critic score is pretty good. I'm looking at this off screen. It's at 85%, which I say is good. I mean, there's no reason to say it's bad. But as we've seen the past several months, high critic score does not mean big box office. There have been plenty of movies I've discussed that have good scores and nobody watched them. So yeah, I mean, hell, last weekend She Said had a, what was the scores for that? I think She Said had like good scores, really good scores, and that did horrendous. But I always say it's usually better to have a good score than a bad score because the good score is gonna want to is usually draws people in. People look at a high score and be like, "Oh, this must be pretty good. I should watch that." So I say its critic score being 85% is a good thing. So I'm gonna consider that to be a pro, even though recent history suggests that it well, in the grand scheme of things, reviews don't matter all that much. But again, better to have good scores than bad. So I consider that to be a pro. Another pro I can think of that it's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving weekends, historically one of the bigger weekends of the year when it comes to movies. And obviously the things are going to be really weird. Like a lot of movies open on Wednesday and then they fall a bit on Thursday because of Thanksgiving, obviously. But then Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, that's where the real money is. Movies like explode that day. They make way more than they're supposed to, and then they crash the rest of the weekend. So having this kind of like a weird release, it has benefited movies in the past. I don't know if it'll benefit this, but it's something to note. So I would consider the Thanksgiving release to be a pro. And I think that's it. I literally can't think of anything else. Okay. Cons. by far and away the biggest con for this movie is the subject matter. Because like this summary here, yeah, this summary doesn't do the movie justice. It doesn't really explain it all too well. It doesn't want to say the bad word, but I'm going to say the bad word. The bad word is cannibalism. Yeah, this movie's all about cannibalism. Like two cannibalistic lovers. A cannibalism love story. That's what this is. Yeah. Obviously, a very hard sell for majority of the population. Cannibalism is one of those topics that's real icky, a no topic, if you will. Kind of like how sexual assault and abortion are considered like no topics when it comes to movies and success. Cannibalism is right up there when it comes to turnoffs for audiences. I mean, let's go through. Oh, look, She Said's already. Why is that a comparison? These are completely different genres. What? It doesn't matter. So, cannibalism. See here. The last cannibalism movie that I really remember was Green Inferno, which was back in 2015 from like Eli Roth. And then going down, where is it? Where is it? Cannibal Holocaust, boy. Yes, let's go. One of the most controversial movies ever. A movie that I have seen. I actually saw it on YouTube. I mean, I'm pretty desensitized when it comes to like graphic content. But yeah, it is not for the faint of heart at all. But yeah, that's like the most famous cannibal movie ever. Then I guess we could label the Hannibal Lecter movies as cannibalism movies because Hannibal Lecter himself is a cannibal, but that's not like the entire point of the movie. Like Cannibal Holocaust, that was the whole point of the movie. Same goes with Green Inferno. That's like a big part of it. Um, but yeah, well, I guess there's the Texas Chainsaw movies, but again, that's kind of like a smaller ish part. That wasn't like the main thing. Here, it is the main thing. So it's gonna be a struggle to sell this to a lot of people because of the cannibalism. So I would consider that to be a con, the subject matter. Another con is the audience score is not ideal. It's not the worst, but it's at 66%, which isn't great. That's a sign that this movie's gonna have really iffy word of mouth. Really, it's iffy at best and and horrible at worst. So this word of mouth isn't. It's not good. Let's just put it that it is not good. So lackluster word of mouth will definitely impact this movie. So I'm going to consider that to definitely be a con. Another con is that this movie's coming out at the same time as four other movies. Well, I guess five if you really want to count Glass Onion, but that's literally going to be in theaters for like a week. So I'm going to have box office numbers. Like, why even mention that? But four real movies coming out. Obviously, when a bunch of movies come out, one would think, oh, all these movies coming out, they're all going to do great. That's great. No, it's not. It's not great. Because usually what happens is that one or two of those movies will do well and the rest just fall through the cracks. We've seen that plenty of times in history. And even, but this year is actually worse. Like literally every single movie is gonna fall through the cracks. There's not gonna be a single winner, judging by early numbers. It's gonna be no winners at all. So, ugh. But yeah, that doesn't change the fact that there's too many movies coming out at once, and that's never good for a movie like this. Especially like the smaller ish movies. The less mainstream friendly movies. Like they get hit hard. And I feel like that's gonna happen here. So I would consider that to be a con, just too many movies opening on Thanksgiving weekend. And another con, Thanksgiving weekend in general. Now I already mentioned, sure, Thanksgiving can be very lucrative. You can have some big hits on Thanksgiving, but you'd be surprised to find out that a whole lot of bombs come out on Thanksgiving. A whole lot of L's happen on Thanksgiving. I mean, look at last year. I mean, sure, Encanto didn't do very good, but at least it did better on Disney Plus, and it had a song that did extremely well. Like, we don't talk about Bruno, but look at last year with Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, a movie I am sure you all forgot even exist. That movie did terrible, terrible last year. And I'm trying to think of some other ones off the top of my head from like the last decade or so. There's like this Victor Frankenstein movie that in 2015 that no one on planet Earth remembers. That did horrendous. The Robin Hood movie in 2018, no one remembers that. That did awful. Um 2016, like, sure, Moana came out and that was a hit, but after that it was an absolute bloodbath. I'm trying to remember these movies. There was Allied, there was Bad Santa 2, I think another one. Rules Don't Apply. All of those did just bombed hard. And yeah, so Thanksgiving isn't exactly a guaranteed, like, if you release your movie on Thanksgiving, you're not guaranteed to make money. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's going to be especially bad in this case. So, yeah, Thanksgiving not exactly being like, a super duper. It's not like the type of thing where like it's a tide that lifts all boats. That's not what happens with Thanksgiving. It's very much a have or the have-nots, and I feel like this is, well, really all the movies are going to be have-nots, but this is especially going to be a have-not. So yeah, Thanksgiving not exactly being like a super positive a holiday for the box office. I would consider that to be a con, or at least it's not super positive for all movies. Con, definitely in the case of this. I think that's, well. Oh yeah, It's we have to talk about. I said Thursday numbers. It's coming out on Wednesday. I have to talk about his Tuesday preview numbers. Before that, I have to talk about the limited release because I had a limited release in like five theaters. It didn't do all that great. It had like a 24K per theater average, which is kind of eh. I mean, there have been movies that have done worse in limited release, but still, this isn't exactly ideal. I mean, it's worse than Fablemans. It's worse than Banshees of Inisherin, whatever that movie was. It's worse than like Everything Ever All at Once. So yeah, this number isn't exactly. It doesn't exactly scream success. So I say some lackluster limited release. Granted, it was only like a 5 day release, but still. Lackluster limited release. I would consider that to be a con. And another con is this damn it, Tuesday preview numbers. It doesn't show it here, but on Deadline, it says it made 345K yesterday on Tuesday. That's not exactly great at all. I mean, it's not nowhere near as bad as She Said, but I think it's like more than double of She Said, which really tells you how bad She Said really did. And this was on a Tuesday, which is much harder than uh, a Thursday. But yeah, it's still not ideal, still really low. I mean, if you want to compare this to other movies, comparison chart. Why are all these compare? Why? No. I guess let's look at other limited releases that I'm trying to think of that I think had Thursday previews. I don't remember. Did any of them have Thursday? I don't think they did. Shoot. Damn. It's hard to compare this with anything anyway, considering it's about cannibalism. But let's just, Last Duel, that had a like real, that was about like sexual assault. And obviously it's a big no. Last Duel, this has to give us something. This movie did horrendous last year. It starts at 350K. Wow. Okay. So this is literally this. This is literally the same. Like minus like 5K. It's the same number. So that had a opening weekend of less than $5 million. That's not still not good. That's a bad sign. So yeah, low Tuesday preview number. I would start to be a con. Okay, so I hate doing these weird predictions. We can't just do a 3 day. We gotta do a 5 day too. And this is where things get real goofy. Because it's hard to predict what will happen tomorrow. But Uh, yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to say. You know, I'm gonna say it's gonna open. I feel like it's gonna be a bit front loaded because all the Timothy Chalamet fans are gonna show up day one, and then it's just gonna die the rest of the holiday weekend. But I think it's gonna have a 5 day opening of $5 million and a 3 day opening of $2 to $3 million. I think that's what I think is gonna happen. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be wrong, but that's all I got. That's what I think is gonna happen. So 2 to 3 for the 3 day weekend, 5 for the 5 day weekend. So that's what I'm going with. So that's it for Bones and All. So one down, three to go. Next up, we have Devotion, then Fablemans, then Strange World. And then that'll be it for November. Woo. So, yeah. Anywho, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage for all previous prediction videos I made this year. I mean, I've covered like all the big movies, the small movies. It's obviously going to be one of the smaller ones. So, you want to watch any of those predictions, go right ahead. Highly encourage it. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I didn't cover Bones and All ever. So there's that. Um so how many canceled episodes I've done? I forgot what the last one was. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. When was it? Okay, that was like the 10th. That was episode 166. Yeah, 166. So I've done 166 canceled episodes. So if you want to watch any of them, go right ahead. Do it all. Watch them all. Binge them all, beginning to now. Highly encourage it. Go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. November recap will come out within the first 2 weeks of December. It's probably not going to be a hard video to make. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. I'll let you know if anything changes. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I've done on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out and goodbye.